Okay, if you click this video, we're gonna go into some polls, some data, and find out what we think is gonna happen with rent, the housing market, and I'll show you what I found. And not to be the Debbie Downer, but like doesn't look good for renters. Looks great if you're buying a home, especially in the situation we are in now, which same as 2008, 2013 housing recession. It's where that bubble's popped, and we're starting to look like same kind of situation on the charts. I'm gonna look into the video here, or actually we'll move on to this part. Yeah, let's look at the median house. Okay, so this is the rates, home prices in the United States before this past 20 years. And we were increasing, we were spiking up, positive, great after everything. And then 2008 hit, right there we dropped, and that was that bubble, that time. That's the last time we've had an actual housing recession in general, recession, which I remember George Bush giving out stimulus at that time. I was very young and I didn't understand why I was getting money, but got me into all this. You can see as all that happened, obviously inflation rose, and it caused a lot of the percentages to go up. And that way, which is, I bet at that time they were hawkish, it made everything in the housing go down, which is what they want. And as we started to climb again, all that positivity, the volatility went away, the economy grew great, perfect. If you look here at rent, this is the not so good side of it. Let me get myself out of here a little bit. If you look here, 1940, this is how far back I went. It rises with inflation. So rent runs kind of in a way against the economy. So, okay, in a way they can do this too, because renting, you're not owning, it's somebody else's property, which all the realtors, all the homeowners out there, good for you. They've had some tough times too, though. I'll get into that in a second. But right here, if you look, you barely even see it. Actually, you don't see a decline. I want to believe that you see a decline in some areas, but it just step by step falls up. And yes, it's over 5 increments, year increments, 10-year periods. The duration here is, yes, it looks slow, but that doesn't matter. This part just shows that it's going up. The point I'm trying to prove is that where we are right now, it's the highest in history, obviously, and it looks like it'll always be. But that being said, it's over 18% increase. These throughout these 5-year increments are never 18 to 28 actually percent up. This is the highest in the history that it has been, and I just hate to say it, but you'd be more safe waiting for this bubble, which I believe, like I said, it's already popped, to dip and to buy a house. Always put your money, to me, not a financial advisor here, but I would always put your money in a house, something you can own, instead of, renting. And yeah, if you need to rent at those times, like, that happens. Those things come up. You're moving. You might have just sold your house, especially in this last 2 years. I know a lot of people that have sold their house. And there's a lot of people in the Gen Z era that are actually buying. They have all the stimulus money. I mean, it's over $10,000 to $15,000, and that's at times what you need to put as a down payment. So they're kind of going in, and I hate to, burst their bubble as well if they're watching this video, but like, if you bought in this time, which now mark, this is 2007, 2008, this is a different time. The charts are matching this same graph here as we're in right now. And if you bought at that peak right here, it's more than likely. Now, I do think we have a stronger economy, but you're more than likely to see a dip in the housing market. Okay, fine. Yes, it's backed up to 5% interest rates. Actually, I think it's going to 6. Doesn't mean, anything against your home necessarily. You're just not going to sell it. You're not going to do any movement probably for the next 5 to 7 years. You might as well just stay put. just keep paying down on your mortgage. But as you can see, it does in the history go back up. Things do start to, it's cyclical. Everything kind of repeats itself. There's intermissions there, but back to what we were saying with this historical median for rent. And I understand. If I owned this property, I wouldn't take it off either, because if you think about it, during COVID, which if you see here, 2021, these little increments you see over a 5-year period, this is only a 2-year period, and it's already increased more than the 5. And at times, which I paid rent, I know a lot of people paid rent during the pandemic, but they were held accountable to still pay their share to the bank, etc., all the money they owe, no matter what. Didn't matter if there was anything along the lines of citizens, the consumers, the public having their jobs lost during the pandemic, or they were staying at home, they weren't making as much money. They still, even if they didn't pay, the people who are the owners, they still had to pay. So what happened? Now that we're back to a healthier economy, more people are back to work, job, laborers, that's the market. Even though we had a dip, it is stronger. I think we're right now at 3.6%. With that being said, though, everything being up, rent and people who own these buildings or houses that you're renting, they still need to pay and catch up on what they've missed for the past year or year and a half that the bills weren't getting paid. And it's also affected them as well. So inflation doesn't just affect the consumer and us, the people. It affects the owners, their water, electricity usage, this utility, all that stuff goes up for them as well. So unless we get a better handle on raising rates to even decrease the inflation further from 8.5%, this is going to stay. And this is what's not fun, is to make a video to make it sound so negative, but this is just, I like facts, I like data, and to be able to look at this and actually understand it between the housing market, it should give you a clear picture on what we could see here in the future. I also want to bring up, there was another point, there was a quote that I saw, and somebody very popular in this range, he says, I've owned rental properties for over 20 years and rental rates have never dropped. This is Jimmy Harris, end of quote. When the real estate market crashed in 2013, said rates didn't fall, and that's what almost got me into this whole rabbit hole, if you will, to figure out if I could do some research for you guys on what you might be thinking. If you recently just bought a house, if you're looking to buy, if you're renting and you're wondering why is rent like just out of this world, and like maybe like a Tesla, these prices will go down soon. And if you do your research, do your due diligence here, you'll find that you're not gonna, if anything, what should happen, because it doesn't look like they're gonna go down. The housing market, like I said, this should go down. You should see a dip, like I said, bubble pops. The interest, all that stuff will go up. It'll slow people down, because I don't know about you, but I'm not spending $400,000 on a property that is 1,300 square foot. Or let's be real, it's like usually like 1,500 to 1,700 square foot, no matter where you look, what city, and 2 bedrooms, whatever. They're almost priced all like you're living in California, which is nope, that's a joke. I also wanted to look at this. If you guys look what happened here, this just falls in line with the market and almost the housing industry. And when people, same thing was put into the market, the stimulus when we did understand there was a shutdown because of COVID. The market dropped, and they were like, nope, we're good, here's some confidence, and they put right back stimulus. So what happened? The market went on its lowest levels in years, almost more than 10 years. And once that money, the reassurance was back in, you saw a big spike. So if you got it at that time, it was perfect. Well, this is somewhat of that. It's just, focusing on lumber, but this is another one that was on its way, did fine, and it dropped dramatically. This was during that time, in that March era, whatever, when people were talking about, the COVID stuff, and all that money and confidence brought it up here. People said, I'm home, I'm doing nothing, I'm going to redo stuff, we're going to build homes. They went nuts. And that's where it finally, this is also a sign where you can see like it's like a peak. And it's weird because it took a break. It almost like it seemed like COVID and everything took a break for a second. But this was almost that peak, which you should have seen in the housing industry as well, a break. You should have seen a slight pause. And I remember hearing about the news. It was a slight break and pause of, oh, we have seen a little bit of decline in housing purchases. And then there was a second, I think it's Omicron, that's what it was called. That came out, and that was kind of a scare for a little bit, so the confidence. And then, oh wait, we started doing more money. After that, you saw another decrease, and since then we have been stuck, which is actually probably what of like a normal level. Same as housing industry. Same thing when I go into, I have another video where they're showing how the minutes and what it means by where you want the job, labor, and money market and the economy to run along each other, with each other, not one in front of the other. So in general, hit the like button, hit subscribe. I'm going to keep making more of these and give you guys some more data and do some research on why things are happening the way they are and what you can expect. But look forward to them. If you enjoyed this video, like I said, subscribe. They take time to do all this research, so it's nice to have a like and a subscribe to keep me doing these. I'll see you guys in the next one.